Oh man, that was all really messed up now. Oh boy.
Are you doing your Tony La Russa impression after he makes a decision? Oh fuck! Oh fuck! This.
Oh god, I shouldn't have put Leary out there in right field.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh fuck! They're gonna know. They're gonna know.
They're gonna hit it right at him.
Redo. Timeout. Stop it. Timeout. Throw the ball in the air. We're gonna put Adam underneath it, and we'll play it like the ball never hit the ground. Here we go.
Thank you for listening to Shy Sox Talk with your hosts Chris and Matt, your weekly place for White Sox fan reactions. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Shy Sox Talk. I am Chris, as always, here with my co-host Matt. How are you tonight?
Doing great, getting pumped. We got baseball finally. We made it. We made it through the lockout, and we finally get to watch them play. So really pumped. Been waiting a long time.
We made it through the dark days.
We did. We did. It was tough. I thought they weren't. I really didn't think they were gonna play this year when the lockout started. So
yeah, I was a little scared. Like when it was January and they still hadn't talked, I was like, "Are we ever gonna meet, or are we just gonna not ever see each other? Not ever. We're sweep the zone the rug. Got it."
Look at that. They figured it out. What a bunch of big, smart business boys.
You're a big business boy. So, again, we appreciate everybody who sent in some DM questions for us. We got a couple that stood out here. One from Matt, just Matt. With Garrett Crochet going down, what do you think will happen to the bullpen, and how do you think his injury changes the progression of his career? I think I'll let you lead off this because you said something to me last week when we were talking about this that I think kind of hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are thinking that he is probably going to have to stay in the bullpen now for his career, if he could have avoided that injury. But I don't know if I agree with that. I would have to look at the history of guys who have gotten injured, to see if they end up like starters end up being in the bullpen that early on in their career. But it also kind of just seemed like it was going to happen no matter what, because he had to have hurt his arm or something in that playoff game, not last season, but the season before, in the shortened season, where he was throwing like 102 miles per hour, and then something happened, and then all last year he threw way slower than that. Still throwing hard, but he wasn't throwing like 102 miles per hour like we saw. So it kind of seemed like there was something going on with his arm, and it was going to pop at some point. So, I mean, you'd rather have it happen at the beginning of a season, as opposed to like mid-season or toward the end. So he's only going to miss this season. He'll be back next year. I think they still will probably pencil him in as a starter to begin. Maybe they'll be able to stretch him out a little bit better because he won't be thought of as a piece for the bullpen. But, good luck to him with his recovery. Hopefully he comes back strong. I mean, a lot of guys come back from Tommy John, stronger and better than ever. So it's not like a death sentence.
Yeah, I mean, this is something you want to happen now. Like, you don't want it to happen, but if it were to happen, you want it to happen now instead of July, because if it happens in July or June, we're not seeing him until 2024. Like, they're not going to bring him back midway through next season to throw him, 35 innings. It's just something that's not going to happen. So, and during his rehab, I mean, they could bring him back like they would have started. I mean, they brought Kopech back like that, and he only pitched. Granted, I mean, he had time in AAA and things like that to build up being starter, but these teams are so efficient at figuring out how to bring guys back from injury that they're going to be able to, if they want, bring him out as a starter next year. And I mean, he would, in theory, fill Dallas's spot. And I don't think him filling that spot, hopefully Dallas does better than what we think. But I don't think there's going to be like a downgrade to that. I mean, I think that's just like a horizontal move that only goes up.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, Tommy John's, kind of like a standard procedure these days for these players.
I mean, Cease had it, Kopech had it. They both look fine. Cease looks like a borderline Cy Young guy. So
I'm excited to see if he puts it all together this year, because he's got all the pieces.
I hope so. And then we got another one here from Pete. It is a two-parter. The second part came in today. How do you think?
I don't know. We're pretty stupid. I don't know if we can handle 2 parts.
How do you think Lance Lynn's injury is going to affect the White Sox in the first 4 weeks of the season? Correction. How do you think Lance Lynn and Yoan Moncada's injuries are going to affect the White Sox in the first 4 weeks of the season? I'll let you kind of rip away with that.
With Lance Lynn, I mean, I think they're going to have to kind of just try and play as good as they can without him. It doesn't sound like he's that concerned with the injury. It doesn't sound like Rick Hahn's that concerned with the injury, or La Russa. So I think he'll be back strong. It's not his arm or anything, just a knee thing. So I mean, we're just gonna have to weather the storm here. You know, you're gonna have injuries in a baseball season. Better to have them at the beginning of the year than any other time, I say. Better than at the end of the year, like last year. Sox were healthy all season last season, and then the end of the season, everybody started getting hurt. Well, kind of, you know, at least for the at least pitchers started getting hurt. You know, kind of forgetting about Luis and Eloy. But you know, I think we'll be able to weather the storm. I think they have a good team. I think the offense will have to carry them to start the season, and I think they will.
I mean, this is kind of an offensive-centric team. Like, as good as their staff is and as good as that bullpen is, the strength of this team really is the bats. I mean, it's just kind of how it's constructed, especially with the Kimbrel trade getting A.J. Pollock, which is like a perfect kind of 3-hole hitter. But, I mean, Lance Lynn's knee kind of bothered him at the end of last year and going into the playoffs. So, another thing, kind of like Crochet, it was kind of bound to happen. You'd rather happen now and affect the team in September, or not in September, but April, May, than it would in late September, going October.
Absolutely. And then with Moncada being hurt now, that hurts a lot. He's a good defender, great defender, good hitter, gets on base. That's gonna hurt. You're kind of testing the depth that we have right now. Especially, I mean, we'll see what Jake Burger. I'm kind of excited to see what Jake Burger has to say about it.
Yeah.
With getting another shot here up in the bigs. His bat played pretty well when he was up. So I don't think his glove's going to be even close to what you get from Moncada. But, as a depth piece, I think he'll be able to fill in at least a little bit on the offensive side.
And for a couple weeks, I mean, that's serviceable.
Yeah, I mean, I just
don't
think
have really a book on him either.
Yeah,
it's not like he played enough where, probably in about 3 weeks when Yoan's back, they're going to have Burger figured out, but maybe he can kind of have a hot start and
you'd love to
fill the space for a couple weeks. And that kind of brings us a little bit into our main topic of the night. Last week we did pitching staff. This week we are going to do batting preview for this team. Field players and things like that, but we might as well start in right field with the newest addition of the team, sending Craig Kimbrel to the Dodgers in return for A.J. Pollock. Thoughts on that guy and kind of how he's going to, fit in the team?
I think that trade kind of salvaged the offseason. I don't know how long they were working on that trade, but I'm glad it finally went through. Kimbrel's off the books. You're not gonna waste any time trying to figure out if he's got it or not this season. I don't think he's gonna get it back. Personally, I think it's a mental thing. I just don't think he's gonna get it back, at least not here on the South Side. But as far as that trade, I think that's huge. He's hits for average, hits for power. Like, he's a quality player. His kind of big knock is that he gets hurt a lot. And, if he stays healthy, that's going to be a huge trade for the White Sox.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking about it. I kind of think he is what Adam Engel ceiling really is. If Adam Engel was able to stay healthy and stay healthy in Adam Engel's, retrospective, kind of stretch that over 160, you get like an A.J. Pollock, and as much as you would love to see Andrew Vaughn or Gavin Sheets kind of figure it out there, like, this World Series team, and you need like a real corner outfielder out there, and this guy is it. I mean, he had like 15 home runs last year, which is something that our right field can do between Adam Eaton and Adam Engel. and I don't even know who else was out there last year. Like
Vaughn, Sheets,
Jake Lamb,
Rake Lamb, yeah,
Rake Lamb, Brian Goodwin. Like AJ Pollock's gonna outperform pretty much all that.
Omar Mazzara the year before.
Yeah, remember that guy? He was supposed to be the big. I remember we were sitting at work and you told me that. We were both like, "Hell yeah, dude, give me Nomar Mazzara." And
he did hit like a 700-foot home run off of Ronaldo Lopez once. It was kind of cool.
did for the wrong team. No.
Yeah. And then he just had a lot of soft contact here on the south side for some reason.
Brutal. Was the only person on the team that didn't hit a home run in that shortened season until the last game of the year. And it just carried over that.
Yeah, so Wall Street.
Just kind of got there. And I mean, he's, AJ Pollock's going to be somebody who isn't going to have to patrol a ton in right field because, let's bring it over to center field to our next guy, Pantera, like the guy.
MVP, I'm calling it AL MVP. They're going to make a new award, best player, both American League and National League. It'll be called the La Pantera Award moving forward.
Yeah, man. I mean, he came back from that hip injury, opened up his stance, and raked. Did you see the home run he hit in spring training, like the getaway pitch the guy just threw? Just like a slider outside in the dirt, like no business to swing at it. He just so smoothly, you're just like, I'm actually going to poke this bad boy.
Yeah, he's got easy power. He's got easy power. It's kind of like that in the NFL when quarterbacks can just like rip it and they call it like easy gas. Easy power for the young man from Cuba patrolling center field. He is going to dominate the league this year.
And
book it.
Hopefully with the full season, like a real full season. Because, 2020 he had a full season, but was it a full season? You know what I mean? Like
full season, book it, MVP. Let's go.
30-30 guy?
Might be a 40-40 guy. Probably won't steal that. I don't think he's going to steal 30 bases just because you don't steal anymore. It's not the nerds. The nerds decided that's not an efficient way to play baseball.
Bigger bags in 2023, so maybe then you kind of get a little bit. I mean, a couple inches is big. That's big in baseball. Like that inch or two, that's a legitimate difference.
Yeah.
And his defense is unreal. Like balls that aren't routine, he just sees so well that it looks like. If you've only watched him on TV and not in person, it's a completely different thing.
He gets perfect reads, reads, and can run as fast as a friggin' cheetah out there.
Yeah, I mean, on TV they cut to him and he's just already under the ball, but in person, like his path, every straight line, he is everything the White Sox need in center field. Everything a team would need in center field.
It was a great international signing.
I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to jinx anything. I'm not going to say
he's going to win the MVP this year. So I'm going to say that right now. He's going to win the MVP this year.
He might be the first back-to-back MVP since Frank Thomas. Like, there's real opportunity.
I mean, he's a beast. He's a beast. That's really all there is to say about that.
And then the guy next to him, which shockingly, his defense got better after his pec injury, and he had risen from whatever grade the White Sox put him in. Somebody who has pop to hit 40 home runs this year, Eloy Jimenez, the big baby.
I've been saying it for a while. I never thought his defense was that. I thought his defense had the potential to be at least league average because he's actually pretty fast and he moves pretty well. And he's, said it to himself. He's like, I want to be a great defender. And I think he's put the work in. I think he's going to be a league average fielder in left field. I think he'll be fine as long as he doesn't fall into the net or get hurt out there or
Spartan kick the wall.
But he's a young kid. He's got a couple of years in the league now. He knows the game better. And I think he's going to be I think he'll be, at least serviceable in left field. And I also think he's going to crush the baseball, like 40 plus home runs. this year, and then probably for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of compare what his defense last year when he came back was to what it was before, like the dumb things like falling into the wall, falling into the net, spark kicking the wall, tearing his pack on the wall, like those dumb little things that he did were just eliminated, and huge difference. Like just a massive difference in just even how it looked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you look more like a professional out there instead of like a fan playing that field.
He was just unbelievable at hitting a baseball. Like he is real power, like your four hitter for a long time kind of guy. And if you put LaPantera and Timmy on base before him, like
he's gonna have a lot of RBI. He's gonna have a lot of RBI opportunities, and I think he's gonna put it all together this year and just start crushing the baseball.
I mean, when he came back last year from that pec injury, would it take him 2 games? Unloaded 1-1. They walked to him. They walked Jose to get to him in Kansas City. His second game back, and he just uncorked on the next pitch. And
and I think we'll see more of that. I think we'll see more of that because coming back from a pec injury, he's got to. I never have done that, but I imagine it makes it pretty tough to swing a baseball bat.
You're telling me you haven't torn your pec and then had to go play Major League Baseball?
Believe it or not, I haven't.
That actually came to a shock to me, Matt.
I've had many injuries, but not a torn pec, and I also, believe it or not, have never played a single second of Major League Baseball.
Only in the show.
Well, if that counts, then lots of seconds.
And then, we'll kind of bring it in the infield, but maybe flip it here. Let's take it behind the plate to arguably the best catcher in the majors. And I will say this every day of the week. He's better than Salvador Perez. Yasmani.
Well, Salvi's not. He doesn't have the glove at all behind home. He's not a good framer, not a good backstop. Just really good, solid hitter, but and he's like 100 years old. Also, Salvi Perez. He was on the World Series team, I think, for the Royals. So he's been around for a while.
And wasn't young on that team. Like he was.
No, I don't think so. He's been around. He's been around for a while. He's getting up there. Yasmani's sick.
Freak athlete. Probably the best guy on the team next to Yohan. Like he just works counts. He'll see 8-9 pitches and then, turn around and just uncork one. There's that game. It was against the Cubs when he came back from his knee injury and, put 2 or 3 over the fence, and one of them went like 450 feet.
Yeah, he's got power for days, and he kind of bats in an annoying way where, for like any fan really, takes so many pitches and walks a lot and strikes out looking all the time, which if you're like an old school kind of guy, you don't like seeing. But that's just the efficient way to play baseball. It's all about on base percentage and like hitting the ball for doubles and home runs. There's a double and a home run is just so much more valuable than a single. It's kind of crazy when you look at it that way, but that's how he plays. He plays the game like in the most efficient way he possibly can. And he's very good at it.
Unbelievable. He's not very fast, which is probably why he plays the game that way. But what was that for like first 2 months of the season? He was batting 180, but he had an OBP of like 455.
Just that on base percentage is really kind of very
massive,
important.
And when you can work 8-9 pitch walks like that's big because you either have to bring in a new guy, or if it's your starting pitcher and it's not time to go to your bullpen, whoever's behind him, which is going to be like Yohan or probably Eloy, maybe even Abreu, like pitchers aren't going to be able to pitch around them and Yaz. Like they're going to have to pick their poison.
Yeah, and just like seeing the pitches that he has, like, hey, what's his slider look like today? I've saw it 3 times already. What's the changeup look like coming out of his hand? I've already he already tried to throw it to me 3 times. So, and then this next at bat, he puts it in, on 35th Street, you know.
On I-95.
Yeah.
They're gonna hit Cork and Kerry with the next one. All right, so yeah, he is. You could, if they win a World Series, you could argue Yasmani Grandal could be one of the biggest off-season signings. In
huge, just a huge key piece to the team, and glad to have him because he's very good at what he does. And with, we're still have regular umps, so the framing is still extremely important. I actually watched like a YouTube breakdown of Zach Collins' framing.
Bad.
And basically he like just goes out and stabs it. Basically he doesn't frame it at all, really. And there's like so many strikes you could pull in, or there was even strikes that just the way he caught it makes it look like a ball. Where the opposite with Yasmani is true, where he catches the ball and makes it look like a strike no matter where the hell the ball is.
Yeah, what was it? He had like a run saved higher than James McCann when he originally came in, because the framing was like 4 or 5, and that's a lot. Like, that might not seem like a lot to a casual fan, but that's a ton of runs like over a season. Like, just saving yourself.
Yeah, his framing is like a huge weapon for the White Sox.
And
because it works. You wouldn't think it would, but it does.
And anybody who talks about like the interference calls he gets, like, that's a part of it. Like, attacking the pitch, like, that's just gonna happen sometimes. He's a really good framer. We'll move it up the baseline here to the captain, Pito. Coming off the 2020 MVP season, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, old reliable in the lineup. I don't know how much we can say that people don't know, but what do you expect from him this year?
30 and 100, pencil him in every year, I think. Bat around 300, maybe like 280, maybe 300 if he's really seeing it. But I mean, that's just who he is. He's consistent. I know he's getting old, so he's supposed to fall off a cliff at some point, but it hasn't happened yet, and I don't expect it to happen this year. I think he might retire after this season, kind of just based on just hearing him talk in the off season, like what he said. I think it might be over for him. I would love to give him that World Series title to ride out on.
Oh, if they win it, maybe, hopefully not. I love him. His defense looked better last year than it ever has. I don't know if he had like a resurgence.
I think he's going to retire.
The eye.
I think he's going to retire, and if he doesn't, I do not believe he will be on the White Sox next season.
You think they're going to push out for Vaughn?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, if they win a World Series and he rides off in the sunset, I don't think there's another way you'd want to send Pito off, because he's been here the whole time, and he is everything you'd want a captain on your baseball team to be.
Yeah, and the Sox never traded him when they were rebuilding. When they tore everything down, they kept him. He's kind of been like the spirit animal of the White Sox for a long time.
He's my captain. That's my quarterback.
Yeah, he's my captain too. I love Jose Abreu. I really hope that we win the World Series, because he's a White Sox legend. Like if there's a ring of honor for the White Sox, he's 100% in it.
Oh yeah,
and if he played a whole career in the NBA, if he played his whole career in the MLB, I don't know why I said NBA, but if he played his whole career in the MLB, that's like he might be a Hall of Famer, borderline Hall of Famer. But he's
spent a ton of time in Cuba, didn't he?
Yeah, he came to the White Sox when he was 26 already. So
yeah. Well, imagine if he did play in the NBA. Wow. Like, he
probably get smoked. He probably get smoked.
We'll move around the diamond. Naturally, another off-season signing, late season, post-lockout guy. Somebody who I know you mentioned last year near the trade deadline that you would have been interested in them maybe trading for is Josh Harrison. I think overall he's going to be a good fit for the team. Hard out in like the 9-hole. Going to be able to flip the lineup over, especially in October, which the White Sox really struggled at last year. And he's good. I mean, he's a good defender. He's a good glove out there.
Yeah, I mean, you're not expecting anything great out of him. Just be like a league average player, and that's a huge improvement over what we've been throwing out there. Just like consistent hard outs, and I'll be happy.
I saw online somebody said signing Josh Harrison isn't a move that would make your team a World Series team, but it's the kind of move that would push you over the edge for the World Series. And I agree with that. I kind of agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Like that is exact. He's not like a world beater. He's not gonna like completely carry the team ever, but he's gonna be a solid pro, and as he has been throughout his career. And that's what we need at second base. That's what the White Sox need at second base.
And they can finally turn 2. That is something they struggled so much with last year, is turning 2. And now, like, hey, Cubs fans, guess who made 2 throwing errors on 2 double plays today in your first game? Nick Madrigal did. Cubs should have turned like 6 double plays today, and they didn't because Nick.
I really feel like he's got the yips, dude. I feel like Nick Madrigal's got the yips. Like,
and he struck out twice today, so.
Oh.
You know. We turned him into AJ Pollock, so we really won that.
Yeah, that's right. It's not that Craig Kimbrel anymore, baby. So that trade's looking a lot better.
Would have been cool if that turned into like Bryce Harper. And then going to the man who, if you haven't watched his documentary yet, do it. He is talk about somebody who embodies the White Sox. Tim Anderson. TA7 is the leadoff guy, the energy on the team. Last year, I forget what it was at the end of the season, but I saw something that said, when Tim Anderson was out of the lineup, the White Sox were like 15 games under 500, and in games where he scored a run, they were like a 2-loss team. So when
he gets like a hit, or a multi-hit game, they're gonna win. Like a really, really high percentage amount of those games they're gonna win, because he's just a player and he sets the table. It's incredible, and the players feed off him. Like you can see it. The team just plays better when he's out there.
He's like a party starter. Like in their games where he leads it off with a home run, it's like it's like just barrel to the ball all game long. Like that Quincy game against the Indians or Guardians. The guy edited that out. Oh no, Guardians of the Galaxy. They kind of started off slow, but Tim hit a home run, and then it was Luis and Eloy and Pito and Moncada, and it just all starts with Tim Anderson, man. He is a gamer.
He's amazing too. Like there's just the league isn't built for guys like him, really, to thrive. High contact guys who swing it a lot and don't really walk a lot, but he swings the lumber. He's got power. He's got speed. He's got defense. Hits for average. He's everything you could want. And it's his defense was pretty rough when he first came up, but he's really turned into a above average defender.
Do you think another batting title is in the works for him?
I think he could win a batting title every year if he wanted to.
Yeah, and he's like a real weird. I'm reading online because you kind of got me more and more into the baseball stats part of fandom, but reading online, he led the league in like for leadoff batters. He was the least took the least amount of walks, but had one of the top 3 on base percentage, which means he hits the ball and hits it really hard and in play. And if your leadoff guy can rip doubles and home runs and stuff like that, I think that's way more valuable than a guy who's just gonna because what are they really? He's gonna lead off 1, maybe 2 innings in a game, and put Josh Harrison or AJ Pollock on first and second and let him come to the dish and start pounding runs.
Yeah, I mean he hits ball hard too. So him and Yoan Moncada both have abnormally high BABIPs or batting average ball in play, but that's because they both smoke the ball when they make contact. And I just love that Tim Anderson just takes the opposite field all the time. Just like line drive, opposite field, put me on base. Love it.
And then we got the guy you just mentioned. Unfortunately, he's out for 3 weeks. Yoan. We did a whole episode on him. For some reason, fans are still split on this guy, but we don't have to touch on him.
We don't have much more to say about him.
Well, he's a stud. And the White Sox are lucky to have somebody like that in the hot corner because there's not a whole lot of like top defending third baseman in the league. And he is really good at the dish. Like, he has a swing that's like a line drive swing, which hopefully like it kind of turns into a little bit of home run swing this year. But I mean, sees a bunch of pitches, sees the second most behind Grandal, walks a ton, and is a
Switch hitter.
freak at defense.
Yeah, incredible, like extremely good third baseman, Gold Glove caliber kind of player.
And he might win one this year. Like, Matt Chapman switching teams, hopefully, like, you know, he's a little out of rhythm, but he could win a Gold Glove this year. And then maybe fans will think he's good finally.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the guy has to do.
I don't get it. And then, anybody off the bench getting, a look at here leading the season that kind of piques your interest. I guess, Gavin Sheets and Andrew Vaughn, we should probably mention them because they're going to be splitting DH. But
I'm really excited to see what Jake Burger does. I think I don't know if his future is on the Chicago White Sox because Yohan Moncada's kind of got third base locked down. But I want to kind of see what he's a great story, and I'm excited to see what he can do, getting a shot here.
And he's a really cool foundation, Burger Bombs. If you haven't checked it out yet, check it out.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude.
Really hard, like cool story, fun story, really unlucky kind of with the injury bug. It looks like he lost weight in spring training, at least watching him play. Maybe, the black just slimmed him down a little bit, but it does me too. So, but I'm excited to see Jake Burger. I'm excited to see a full season of Gavin Sheets and Andrew Vaughn splitting DH. I think Vaughn's going to get some starts at first when it's like a lefty out there, and Pito's going to DH those days. But White Sox have a squad, and I think it's an offensive carry team. As good as the pitching staff is,
they're solid.
The offense is nasty.
That offense is the best lineup I've seen
in a long time. You compare it to 05, which one do you take? With Frank, let's say Frank doesn't get hurt. Frank should.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say because
different sport.
I mean, they won the World Series, so they obviously had something. I don't know. I think I would put it up there with them. That 05 lineup 1 through 9 was pretty solid.
Do you think Pollock becomes the Sednick? Sednick was a trade from the Brewers. I mean, he was kind of the outfielder that was like the last kind of piece.
Yeah, I mean, he could be. He very well could be.
Hope so. And season started today technically, but the White Sox real season starts tomorrow against the Tigers.
Yes, it does.
1:00, I believe. Lucas on the bump. Kind of brings us to our season predictions. What do you think the White Sox are going to kind of fall? Let's go record. We can go AL Central real quick. Kind of rankings, then we'll go into the postseason. But where do you think the Sox are going to fall record-wise?
I think the White Sox will win the division, run away with it, with 100 victories.
You got them at 100?
I'm saying they're going to win 100. What did they win 93 last year? They won 93 last year?
Yeah, they kind of fell off the end a little bit, but
they won 93 games and they didn't have Eloy and Luis Robert for large portions of the season. So I think they could do 100. I really do.
Yeah, I got them 97 to 100.
And I think they're going to win the World Series this year. I think they're good enough to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, that fifth starter, once Lance Lynn comes back, I really believe that Michael Kopech's going to, put all the pieces together because he's not a first-time starter. Some fans might forget that, but, in 2018, he was, debuted, he was a starting pitcher before. So,
yeah, and also,
up and,
just like another
team that's going to put it together.
Yeah, and the thing a lot of people don't realize is other teams have holes. It's not just the White Sox. No one has 5. Most teams don't have 5 ace quality starters. So a lot of teams have a bad 5th starter. That's a thing that happens in baseball.
It's hard to find 5 good ones. I mean, even the Dodgers, they're they got Julio Urias and Walker Buehler and I don't even know who the third guy would be out there. And then
Kershaw.
They're they have Clayton Kershaw, technically in the 5 hole. Clayton Kershaw wasn't what he was in 2015. Like,
Yeah,
the
but he's
guy
still a
is
stud
30
now.
years
But like,
old.
just
He's not.
it's really hard to get 5 good pitchers.
Mets almost did it, but DeGrom and Scherzer are already on the DL, so that sucks. But I agree. I think this is a team that wins the World Series because once you get to the postseason, you got 4 rolling, and you look at the 4 that they got. I take those 4 against anybody else's in the majors.
I think they were good enough to win it last year and the year before. They just happened to lose in the first round. But I think that the team, the way it was composed, was good enough to win. And I think the team's better now.
Yeah, and the other hole that I think I had a problem with in the postseason last year was the bottom 3 were auto outs. Kevin Sheets and Andrew Vaughn are a year older, and Josh Harrison and AJ Pollock are not auto outs. They're going to turn the lineup over to Tim and Luis, and that top 5 or 6 in the White Sox order gets real scary real fast when that lineup flips, and that's how you blow games open.
And if you could use Adam Engel as a pinch runner, defensive replacement type of player, as opposed to starting, that's huge too.
Instead of pulling him out in the 6th or 7th inning.
Yeah, like if you put Adam England in left field to close the game out, that's a very good defensive outfield.
Yeah, Eloy walks in the 7th, pinch run for Adam, and that's a guy who can steal bags too. Adam Engel's freakishly fast.
Very fast. He's one of the fastest people in the league, actually.
Yeah.
I think he has the fastest recorded sprint time in Major League Baseball.
I would believe it. 99 speed rating. So,
he's also apparently super good quarterback in high school.
Dual threat.
Dual threat, baby.
Throw God. But this is a team that White Sox fans should be super excited about. Kind of last question, I think, before we wrap it up and kick the season off. Is there a team? Who's the team that's going to come closest to the Sox? I think they're going to win the division by 8 or 9 games. They're going to run away with it. But who do you think is going to kind of push them a little bit?
So, it looks like the Twins are kind of putting something together here, but their starting pitching's pretty bad. 1 through 5, pretty bad. The Tigers, I kind of want to say the Tigers. I kind of like a couple of their players. I don't know if their pitching's going to do it, but I think it'll be the Guardians.
Guardians, I agree.
Yeah, they're just a thorn in our side, as White Sox fans, and they'll always be there because for whatever reason, whoever they have down there in the minors, or if it's their pitching coach, or who, they just get pitchers.
Cy Young after Cy Young.
And they're so good at pitching.
People are saying the Tigers. You got to remember Casey Mize and Spencer Torkelson have to be hits this year. They've got to be on for that team to be good. Because if they're not, it's gonna struggle. Sorry, Spencer Turnbull is not good enough to carry that pitching staff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their big kind of move was Javier Baez, and I don't know. He strikes out a lot, and
he was never the best shortstop in Chicago.
It was always Tim.
It was always Tim.
It was always Tim.
I think that's going to do it for us. I think we're super pumped to finally have regular season baseball to talk about. Thank you to everybody who watches this. It's kind of cool. There's 30 people that subscribe to our channel. We're super small, but thanks for interacting about the White Sox about us, because it's all we want to do is talk about the White Sox.
Yeah, we love the White Sox, and we love talking about it.
Go White Sox.
Any
words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom would be to enjoy a nice frosty beverage. Oh, it's gone invisible.
Green screen it. Oh,
there we go. There.
Miller High Life.
Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy a nice frosty beverage. It is National Beer Day, so in celebration of that, for our of-age friends, have a beer. Happy National Beer Day, and also happy White Sox Eve. See you all tomorrow at 1:00, 1:10, I believe. Is that Eastern time, or is that Eastern
Central,
time?
I believe it's double check the app here. We are professionals at this, everybody. So we got a 12:10 start time.
It is 12:00.
If you're in school, leave early. Say you got a doctor's appointment. If you're
watch it on your phone.
Flip it on. All right, tomorrow is White Sox Day, and
We'll
if you're at
sign
the
your
game on the 15th,
We'll sign your doctor's note if you need us to.
and if you're there on the 15th and see us,
Say hi.
Say hi. That'd be insane. So
Yeah,
White
that would be the most insane thing ever if someone who watches this saw us at the game.
That'd be nuts.
I think
Matt and I would
my brain would explode if that happened.
So do it. Let's make Matt's brain explode.
Yeah.
Go White Sox.
Go Sox.